Okay, let's jump straight into this explainer because we really need to address the elephant in the room right out of the gate. Look, when you're evaluating AI agent tools, 40,000 GitHub stars is a lagging and frankly incredibly misleading indicator of a framework's actual quality.
If you've actually been in the trenches building in this space, you know exactly what I mean. Seriously, have you ever found yourself wrestling with LangGraph's orchestration at 2 a.m.? You've probably spun something up with CrewAI or AutoGen, and you've for sure heard of LangChain. But let's be totally honest here. Debugging those heavy, generalist tools can sometimes feel like absolute archaeology. You know, digging 3 layers deep into the code just to find the actual prompt being sent to the model.
So, there's this really stark contrast in the AI framework ecosystem right now. The mainstream giants, we all know, they were built for the general case. And hey, they're great starting points. But when you hit production, well, you hit the edges, hard. That's why today we're doing a complete A to Z guide of what I call the hidden tier. We are exploring 8 elite open-source frameworks built by developers who basically got fed up with the mainstream options and built totally new tools to solve specific, really hard architectural nightmares.
We have a lot of ground to cover today. We'll start by moving beyond mainstream AI frameworks, then look at survival and memory, architecture and developer experience, teams and managed backends, PHP and massive scale research, and wrap up with how to pick your perfect tool.
Section 2. Survival and memory. Let's look at frameworks designed to actually remember things long-term and survive the chaos of production.
First up is Hermes Agent, built by the highly respected team over at News Research. You know, most frameworks treat memory as just a total afterthought, like literally just a vector store bolted onto the side. But Hermes treats learning as the core product through its skills system. Whenever Hermes finishes a complex task, it autonomously creates a reusable skill. Combine that with full-text SQLite search and what they call dialectic user modeling. And Hermes doesn't just pull up old context, it actually gets smarter and adapts to your specific working style the more you use it. The really crucial takeaway here is focus. While Hermes is completely optimized for learning and always-on personal automation, our next tool, Hive, operates on a totally different assumption. Hive assumes that in production, agents are going to fail. Period. So Hive acts as a true production harness. If an agent completely breaks at 3 a.m., Hive doesn't just fail silently and page you, it captures the failure data, feeds it right back into the system, evolves its own agent graph, and then automatically redeploys a healed version. It is literally built for survival.
Moving right along to Section 3, Architecture and Developer Experience.
If you actually want to scale, you need to be looking at Calfkit. A massive problem right now is most frameworks tie everything into one tight blocking process. To fix this, Calfkit introduces zero coupling composition. Think of it as the Kafka of agents. It treats every single agent and tool as an independently scaling event-driven microservice. They all communicate asynchronously via shared topics. This is a game changer because it means tweaking one tool won't accidentally break your entire agent, and you can just drop in new capabilities without touching any of your existing code. So if Calfkit is your go-to for solving massive back-end scaling bottlenecks, our next framework, AgentScope, swings the pendulum right back to developer experience. AgentScope's whole philosophy is that as LLMs get smarter, our framework should honestly just get lighter. Instead of forcing you into rigid, hard-coded pipelines, it relies on the natural reasoning of modern models. It gives you a flexible message hub, which is essentially a dynamic chat room for your agents, and it even comes with native support for real-time voice interactions right out of the box. It gives you structure, but it totally stays out of your way.
Section 4. Teams and Managed Backends. Let's talk about coordinating AI teams and a completely different way to handle infrastructure.
Okay, when you need multiple agents working together on a project, Open Multi-Agent stands out because it keeps things incredibly explicit. Instead of all this abstract magic that's basically impossible to debug, it uses a simple task DAG, a directed acyclic graph. This guarantees that independent tasks run in parallel, while dependent tasks actually wait their turn. It lets you build a highly structured team like, say, an architect, a developer, and a reviewer agent that executes perfectly inside a single, blazing fast Node.js process.
Comparing these two is fascinating. Open Multi-Agent gives you total, lightweight control over your workflow logic. But then there's xpander.ai, which asks a really provocative question. What if you just didn't manage the backend at all? Xpander is essentially a fully managed backend as a service for AI agents. You just offload the task execution, the tool registries, the observability, the knowledge bases, the whole shebang, entirely to the cloud. You get to stop wiring infrastructure and just start focusing on the actual product.
Section 5, PHP and massive scale research. Two completely opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Right now, almost every AI tool out there just assumes you are coding in Python or TypeScript. But what if you aren't? Neuron AI bridges this massive ignored gap. If you're building for the web in PHP and you're sick of Python-heavy stacks, Neuron AI brings familiar artisan commands and persistent eloquent ORM memory right into the Laravel apps you're already building. You don't feel like you're fighting an external AI framework at all. It just feels like you're building a native Laravel feature that happens to have AI inside it. Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have a number that should definitely grab your attention. 1 million. That is the exact number of agents the CAMEL framework is uniquely engineered to simulate simultaneously. I'm not speaking metaphorically here, literally 1 million agents.
This is such a clean separation of the practical from the theoretical. Neuron AI is your completely pragmatic tool for shipping real web products and SaaS applications without having to switch programming languages. CAMEL, on the other hand, is a massive laboratory. It's built for hardcore AI researchers to study emergent behavior, collective intelligence, and to just generate absolutely vast amounts of synthetic data. It literally answers the question of what happens when these systems scale up to society-level interactions.
Finally, Section 6. Pick your perfect tool. I want to bring us right back to this absolutely crucial point we started with. Remember, the most interesting innovations, the tools that are actually going to solve your production bottlenecks, are happening in focused, specialized repositories solving highly specific problems. They are not necessarily the tools currently trending at the top of Hacker News.
Honestly, you might want to screenshot this cheat sheet right now. Let's recap. If you need memory that actively evolves, you use Hermes. If your agents keep crashing in production, you use Hive. If you need event-driven scaling, it's Calfkit for sure. Want developer flexibility without all the bloat? AgentScope. Need explicit, predictable task coordination? Open multi-agent. Want to offload your infrastructure entirely? xpander.ai. Sticking to Laravel? Neuron. And for massive, society-level simulations, CAMEL. It's all about matching your exact architectural roadblock with the perfect open-source solution.
As you walk away from this explainer and sit down to plan your next major AI project, I really want you to ask yourself, are you building for the stars or are you building for the solution? Don't just blindly default to the biggest name in the space. Dig into this hidden tier. Go so much deeper into the tools that truly fit your specific use case and start building systems that actually survive and thrive in the real world.